Many people consider weight gain as sheer laziness and ill-discipline. The belief is fat people eat too much and exercise too little. That may be a contributing factor, but it is not the main reason. The answer lies deeper. That answer lies within the consciousness that dominates its host. By now, you have come to realize that there are two opposing forces of consciousness, namely linear and lateral. They both view life very differently, and it is this difference of perspective that is the ultimate key to weight gain. This is what the world looked like 10,000 years ago. Wild, free, and boundaryless. Everything within it was nomadic and migratory. The whole world was one. It still flowed with timeless, lateral chaos consciousness. Man was about to enter the Neolithic era, and with it his identity was also about to change. This is what the world looks like today. Boxes, borders, boundaries, lines, lanes, and labels. Enter linear consciousness, and everywhere is bedecked in lines. Lines form boundaries, and the space between the lines identifies the people. This has all taken place because man changed his identity 10,000 years ago, when he migrated from nomadic hunter-gatherers into farmers, engineers, and scientists. As man became sedentary, he began to affect his own future, the irony being that by becoming stationary, he was able to gain momentum with his own evolution. The crops grown in the ground were a show of intent to make provision for a future event. Man was now a scientist. He had begun to look for solutions. He had begun to visualize and project his identity onto the future. Do you remember the lateral always deviates from its axis? Well, the viewpoint of a lateral is the same too. It spreads laterally too. They have a wide-angled lens fitted to their eyes. They see a wide view, but nothing is very sharp or focused. They see lots, but nothing in great clarity. This is how the linear see the world. They are the opposite. Their field of view is small, but what they do see, they will see with great focus. They see lots of little. But everywhere they look, they do the same thing over and over again. It is this. They place lines everywhere, which form boxes. Every box gets a label, and a value is placed upon it. They only look at one box at a time. This approach alleviates overwhelm. You'll notice everything has a boundary around it. That includes their thoughts and beliefs which are filed away in their minds. This gives the ability to view the world in a logical, sequential fashion. So what is the consequence of all this then? Well, the lateral viewpoint is a wide-angled lens. They simply see too much at once and become overwhelmed by reality. Thoughts and beliefs have no boundaries. There is no internal filing system. Therefore, internal chaos ensues. This overwhelm leads to a psychological paralysis. The person is unable to move or function properly. Because of the overwhelm, life is run on default by the parasympathetic nervous system. Conscious living is avoided. This system stores energy in the form of extra mass as reserves, because, as we remember, the lateral give all their energy away to others, always leaving themselves low on reserves. Linear, by contrast, are highly conscious and operate primarily on the sympathetic nervous system, and consume large amounts of energy in the process, reducing the mass. The universe does not like people living life on default. We have to make our own conscious effort in life, or else there are consequences. Weight gain is the consequence of default living. Those brave enough to consciously engage the future for the purpose of self-determination remain slimmer and, in most cases, healthier. This is universal poetic justice. Removing the psychological paralysis is the true answer to weight gain. How do we do this? Empower the lateral to see in a linear fashion. Let's understand this fully. As we have already seen, the linear see one box at a time. The field of view is limited but extremely focused. So as a consequence, they don't get overwhelmed. The linear also have three golden techniques that the lateral don't have. It is this. Firstly, the linear visualize their own model identity and they emblazon it across their future and work in a straight line towards it. They take it everywhere with them. It is the passport to the future. Secondly, every box that the linear look into has a positive or negative value. If the value is positive, it then suits their model identity and is incorporated into their world. If it is negative, it gets discarded. Thirdly, linear put a boundary around everything that includes their thoughts and beliefs. Because of this, they can identify the beliefs. Beliefs with boundaries are managed in a more effective manner. They can be controlled. This leads to the linear being able to choose what to believe. Lateral have no boundaries. As a result, their beliefs are allowed to grow until the person has become their belief. What started as a small packet of energy in the shape of a belief situated in the mind has taken over the person in the form of fat deposits. This is purely unspent, festering energy. The belief is out of control and unmanaged. The lateral has no choice over what they believe. They are purely reactive. The linear identify their beliefs and they believe in their identity. Everything that they do is in pursuit of fulfilling their identity. Linear validate themselves by achievement and significance of self. Lateral validate themselves by service to others. Why? Because they have no other choice. They simply cannot visualize their own model identity or a path towards it due to overwhelm. Therefore, they suffer self-imposed insignificance. If lateral can be educated into these linear techniques, then the overwhelming paralysis can be negated. The lateral are then free to engage the future with confidence, and the nervous energy generated will ensure weight loss. The answer to weight gain has already been given. We are looking, but not seeing. Here is the first clue. Neuro-linguistic programming claims that the visual modality type person is a slim-built person and that the kinesthetic modality person is larger framed. Another clue from metabolic typing claims sympathetic nervous dominance gives rise to a slimmer person and that parasympathetic nervous dominance again gives rise to a larger built person. The sympathetic dominance has a large dilated pupil that allows light to strike the optic nerve. Parasympathetic does not. Sympathetic dominance stimulates the optic nerve and the conscious cameras are set to manual. Parasympathetic dominance runs on default. Ever driven a car home and can't remember the journey? What did you see? That's right, nothing. But your eyes were open. You were in the land of the parasympathetic. You were consciously vacant and running on default. For some, this car journey lasts days, weeks, even years. They are sleepwalking in semi-glazed automaton, such as the timeless state of default lateral consciousness. NLP claimed kinesthetics are the larger framed people. As you know, kinesthetic is to feel, and to feel is default sensory equipment. How so? Every organism in the universe can feel, but it is only those that enjoy movement that see or hear. The message is clear. Vision is for those that have momentum. Momentum is for those who have vision. We have become lazy. We live on default and allow others to do the work for us. We rely on books, films, and computers to create imagery in our heads. We are too lazy to visualize for ourselves. The overweight can only access memories from the past. The slim visualize the future, with themselves at the center of it. If we want to lose weight, we must begin to visualize our model identity. As we open our eyes, we prime our optic nerves and switch our conscious cameras to manual. The liver begins to release sugar into the bloodstream. Energy is released. Our sympathetic nervous system becomes alive, and we step out of default living. With our passport, we can engage the future with confidence and shake off the paralysis. As we engage the future, we will generate the nervous energy needed for weight loss. As we work towards our identity, we will automatically generate time and space for ourselves. Our precious reserves will be reclaimed, the universe will be pleased, and the golden gates to abundance shall open. The choice is yours.